Hi, I'm Christian.
And I'm Angela, and we are married
And bored.
Hey, everybody.
We're back.
We're here. And we hope you are settling in for another episode of the Married and Bored podcast. It's 2023.
Still.
Yes, still. And we're hitting you with another game.
Yeah. So just welcome. Thanks for being here. Thanks for listening. We hope that, February is going great.
And that you leave us a review.
Right out the bat, asking for reviews.
Yeah, before we even get into the episode.
All right, Angela, why don't you just tell everybody how they can get in contact? No. Well, we hope everybody's having fun playing games. And if you haven't yet, you should probably start thinking about Valentine's Day.
Well, it is Valentine's Day as we are releasing this. So
that's true.
I don't know that people have much time left.
Well, too late, guys.
Real quick, before we ask what's up, what is our Valentine's Day looking like?
A whole lot of nothing.
Yeah.
We're getting a few things. When I say a few things, I mean like two.
Yeah.
For our children.
Yeah, just like a little balloon at breakfast and a toy.
Nothing crazy. I don't know if something triggered this or what, but we don't always do Valentine's Day. We kind of decide like in January, like we chat about it and we're like, are we doing anything this year? And sometimes we're like, yeah, let's do it. And then other times we're just like, nah.
Do you think it correlates to how much love we have for each other?
Probably. So this year is like a not enough love, or there's too much love that we don't need to show it with cards and gifts.
Oh, look at that. That was a good spin on it. Okay.
Which one is it?
I like that.
But was there like I feel like every couple goes through like when they exchange gifts, there's a early on, maybe not everybody, there's like a wide discrepancy of like gifts. So
or
like
expectations are not met.
Yeah, or like I think the classic example in our relationship is Angela bought me like an e-reader Kindle Nook I think it was for Valentine's Day.
It was our first Valentine's Day as a married couple.
Yeah.
And I'm shaking my head right now because I just cannot believe that I got him. It was like
$145.
Yeah, it was like hundreds of dollars e-reader.
Which, it's fine if you spend that much. We're not saying it, but for us, it was like, when you compared it to what I got her, which I don't even remember what it was.
It's probably like flowers.
Sandals.
Yeah. But like I would give you that type of gift on your birthday.
Yeah, it was a little much for Valentine's Day. So, I mean, if you're out there and you feel it, you feel us,
And if you don't have any significant other that you're celebrating Valentine's Day with, just know that we love you.
And last minute ideas, here we go. 2-player games.
Oh, you're just throwing them out there.
Yep, that's it. That's all I got.
Okay.
We did an episode on Fog of Love way back when.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a little interesting 2-player game. We love Jaipur. We've gotten into Radlands lately. We've played Seven Wonders Duel. Any ones that I'm forgetting?
Fox in the Forest Duet.
Yeah.
Watergate. Yeah, we did a whole episode on 2-player games.
Check it out.
Check it out.
We already talked about those games. So, Ange, I'm going to hit you with our opening question and just ask you what's been going on. What's up with you?
Okay.
Since we last chatted.
Well, I think last episode we mentioned on tour. And as roll and write on tour, and as we were like putting away the game this past weekend, there was an insert, because it's made by, well, what are they called now? It's not board game tables.
All Play.
All Play?
All Play Games.
All Play Games.
Yes.
So I was putting away the insert and the directions, and then there was like an advertisement, for their Jasper table.
Oh, yeah.
And so I just got, we've always kind of like pinged around the idea of like, do we want a Jasper table? No, it's not time. And then now we're getting to the point where our kitchen, like eat-in table is expiring.
It's gone through 2 toddlers.
Yes, with jamming forks and stuff into it. And it's on its last leg probably this year. And so I'm thinking...
It might be time.
Is it time for the Jasper table? And I know we've played around with like the accessories we would want in the past. I'm not super fresh on like cost and everything, but I know we would want like cup holders.
Well, yeah, I mean, if you're going to do it, you got to do it.
You got to do it. Yeah. So anyway, I've been thinking about that recently. I have no conclusion, but just thinking about maybe this year the Jasper table will end up in our.
I think one of ours biggest holdups in getting it has been like just the aesthetics. It only comes in 2 colors.
That's
as far
true.
As we haven't done tons of research, so if we're wrong, please let us know. But it's like just a blackish, dark brown
Espresso or
and then
something.
just a natural birchy color table,
Right.
which doesn't really match what we have in our home.
The birch
So that's
one.
tough.
Yeah, the birch one would kind of blend into our floors.
We gotta look at the the table behind you's got birch legs, and they kind of like looks like it's growing out of the ground.
And then the espresso one just does. It's nice. It just doesn't match any of the other wood tones.
It's like too far.
Too far dark. Yeah, so it's interesting that we're hung up on aesthetics. Yeah, if you know of any other colors, please let us know. And
What, blue, red?
well, no, I mean of the
Oh,
board
not
ga-
just colors.
no
Got
of
it.
the board game table.
Sure.
And we've looked up custom tables before, and we're not gonna pay.
Those are ridiculously
yeah,
priced.
we're not there.
Well, here's
So-
a good question that we should ask. If you have used a Jasper table and also used it as like your main dining table, like how does that hold up?
Yeah.
We have a 10-year-old base or 9 and 7-year-old.
Yep.
Obviously, there'll be wear and tear on like the top pieces. How does it fit? How does it work with like spills and leaks and food? And does it get through to the game stuff underneath, or is it pretty tight? Does it chip easily? Let us know.
Yeah, we want to know all those things. We have a bigger dining room, I
Our
guess.
formal dining area.
Yes, where we, although we are super fancy,
That's very true.
we almost never eat there.
No, we only use it for games.
Or if it's like
Or birthdays.
the whole family is gathered. And so anyway, let us know what you think of the Jasper. If you've tried it like Christian said, or if you own it, let us know.
Yeah, and I think I like the Jasper a lot because the play area is like the exact same size as the table we have now. So it's not like we have to worry about how big it is. We know it
Right.
fits.
Right. It would be nice. Perfect.
It's just a matter of like pulling the trigger.
I know.
Jeez.
Oh, man. Okay, Christian, what's up with you?
Decisions, man.
You've got more decisions?
No, I'm just saying.
Oh.
Just really hard first world problem decisions. Like, should I buy this board game?
Listen, I'm just talking with the I'm talking with the peeps. Christian, what's up with you?
What's up with me? I've been dabbling or dipping my toes back into painting and printing. And what I mean
Yeah.
by that is 3D printing some minis, some figures.
What figures are they?
So I have printed some Star Wars guys
Okay.
that are, it's like they're the size of the Star Wars Legion characters or figures, whatever they are. And this is a special set of like Luke, Han, and Leia all in Hoth attire. So they got their
Ooh,
jackets,
yeah.
and their puffy jackets, and
Using a lot of that bright white.
yeah, creams and blues. I haven't painted those. Those are the ones I printed. I had some old ones saved up that I just never painted. I was gifted some Star Wars Legion minis probably last Christmas, and I just never got around to painting them. But now they're halfway done, so
Okay.
it's been fun. I'll show you one, Ange. I don't know. Here's my lizard.
Whoa. Okay. We've got now. Is it called anything?
That's a dewback.
A dewback.
Yeah.
He looks mean.
He is. But I feel like, I don't know, it's like everything. The more you practice, the better you get. So I feel like I'm getting there. I enjoy it. I've been doing it a lot when we watch basketball because sometimes I just don't want to sit and only watch the basketball game, you know?
So let me ask you this. What would be the ideal background, if any? Maybe you wouldn't want anything in the background. when you paint
No, I think sports is perfect.
for you? Okay.
Yeah.
So not like a book or like a music or...
No, I don't think music would be fine. I think I use that for work more.
Okay, yeah.
And if I did a book, I don't think I could concentrate on both things. Because then I'd start thinking about, okay, so I need to paint this guy's leg next. But in order to do so, I need brown. And then I got to go get brown. And then I got to clean my brush and get a different brush. And then I'm like, I don't know what's going on in this book.
Okay.
After
So that would
thought
not
process.
be... That would not be it's not a mindless task.
No. I mean, it can be if it's like the bigger it is. You know?
True.
It's like, oh, I got to paint it all red.
Yeah. Or if you're just extremely accomplished.
Yep. So I painted that, and then I think I told the story where I got the miniatures for Deep Rock Galactic board game, and I've just been kind of going through those and painting those. So it's been fun. Just trying to figure out. It's really interesting to figure out what kind of colors to use, because that's not something that I usually think about. And I only have so many paints. I don't have tons. And so, like, all the yellows are the same yellow. I mean, like, I know I can lighten it with white or whatever, but, like,
right.
I'm not there yet.
I think it's cool that you paint. I don't know that I feel like I want to paint right now, but I feel like you are enjoying it.
Yeah, it's been fun. I want to get better. I have some queued up. I have a Boba Fett queued up, and a Jyn Erso from Rogue One, and a Han Solo from Endor. So it'd be fun. And I have a random Magneto from Crisis Protocol.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
That's
so
right.
We'll see how that goes. I need red and pink to do the classic 90s Magneto.
Classic Magneto.
I don't know if I have pink. That's the problem.
We'll find something.
Red and white makes pink, right?
You can use our daughter's finger paints.
I'm sure it's exactly the same. Yeah, so that's what's been going on. We've been dabbling in a game here and there. Nothing really to report on. We're eagerly awaiting the new hero packs from Marvel Champions.
Yes, it's Rogue and
Gambit. So that'd be awesome when those come out this month. Fingers crossed. And obviously we'll have more information to report to you guys once that drops. But this episode, we are talking about a game called The Wolves. It's one I had my eye on probably since it was announced. It just seems cool. Who doesn't like wolves?
I mean, prey, rabbits.
Why rabbits don't like wolves.
Yeah.
That's true. It just seemed like a very interesting, intriguing style of game, and we're going to talk about it right after. All right, everybody, The Wolves. The Wolves. There it is again. It's a game by Pandasaurus.
Yeah.
Which is who did Nacho Pile?
Yep, they've done Sonora, which is like a dexterity one.
Yeah,
it's like a flippin' right.
Flippin' right. Flippin' game. They're doing Elizabeth Hargrave's next one, The Fox Experiment.
That's right.
So it's like a wolves game and a fox game.
Mm-hmm. They're the dinosaur
Island.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So, I mean, they're a very popular publisher right now. So you've probably seen it online on BGG. But yeah, Ange, why don't you just jump in and tell us what The Wolves is?
Okay, The Wolves. If you haven't noticed, that's me howling. It's wonderful background. That's Christian, not as good. We got this one kind of on a whim, which I think we explained in our last episode. We thought we were going to be more patient, but then we saw it at our local game store.
Like the last one.
And we were like, yep, we're going to buy it. So this is a like survival of the fittest, where it's a game for 2 to 4 players.
5.
Sorry, 5. 2 to 5 players, where everyone is trying to basically control the most points in certain territories, and you do that by having wolves, pack wolves, alpha wolves, by having dens, and then upgrading a den to a lair. So those are basically points within the region. You try to recruit some lone wolves to your pack and hunt prey. And if you have a wolf of yours that is all by itself, another person may come and try to claim it into their pack.
Yeah, persuade it to switch sides.
Yes. So that is the gist of Wolves.
Yeah, it's a very interesting area control game. It's very cool. Obviously, each team is a wolf. There's different wolves. They don't really do much different. It's not like an asymmetrical game.
No, it's just their actions. The action selection mechanism is just slightly different.
But that's the only thing.
Yeah.
Everything is going to be playing the same. So let's just, let's jump into it, Angela, and talk about getting this to the table. What was our experience with that?
Well, I think it's a medium game. It's in terms of
setup. Okay.
Tear down. I don't think that there's anything crazy to set up, but I also don't think that it's like the smallest, most compact.
No, there's nothing too wild. It's a modular board, and depending on how many players you have, the board looks different. And we should say, we'll probably mention it in the next little segment, but there are specific 2-player rules. We'll dive into that in a little bit. But so each from 2 to 5, the board looks different.
Right.
And you can put each little map tile in a different area. So it's not always the same every time, except for the center square.
It's not a square, but yes, I know what you mean.
Hex blob.
Yes. There's player boards. There's, like Christian was saying, the modular center board. There's a phase of the moon board.
Yeah, the moon cycle board.
Yep.
Ooh!
And a bunch of little wooden meeple pieces.
Yeah,
characters.
think of like Scythe in
Yeah.
terms of setup. You have your board, you put stuff on your little player board, and as you go through the game, you're taking it off to boost up what your team can do. Initially, putting this together and opening it, it was just, in my mind, it was chaos. There were so many different pieces to start. But because all the shaped things were together. So that it wasn't separated by color. It wasn't separated by, it was just separated by size and shape. And so it's oh my gosh. And so once we rearranged everything and got it into what we feel is the best way to do it.
Yeah.
Just give everybody a baggie with your color and the tiles you need to start. You're good.
Yeah.
Once we did that, it got a lot easier.
Right.
But I remember opening it and being like, I don't know what I'm gonna do.
What's going on?
Where I'm gonna put all that stuff. And I guess we should say that the box does have an insert.
Right.
It's a good start for organization. It's not perfect.
Yeah, it's not a box that's empty and you throw everything in it. We have Arnak. We have some like that. But it's also not great organization. It's a good start.
Yeah, it's got spots for the hex tiles, which is awesome. It's got spot for the player boards and your wolf little tokens. But then beyond that, it's just it's square places to put everything else. And there's a lot of tokens in this game. And I think that's where it was very overwhelming to try to figure out where they all go. And some of it is just in there loose. It's in a little tub, not a tub, but a recessed area of the insert. But it's not secure in any way. There's no cover. So it's
right. So if you store your games,
vertically like we do.
Yeah. It can get interesting. And, tearing down, that's where probably a little bit more work comes in, because now at the end of the game, everyone's pieces are mixed up again.
Everything's everywhere.
Right. So with the way we like it separated by color, so that each wolf has its own package basically at the start of the game, it takes us a little bit to resort all that. And that's why we need to hire our kids just
to do it.
Yeah. Just
resort. They would do it wrong.
They would do it wrong.
I'm not organized in my life, but I do like when my games are organized.
I know. All right. Accessibility for new players. Do you think this is easy for a new player to learn?
I think it's okay. I think it's the hardest. It's a good area control game to start with, I think. I'm sure there are easier ones out there. I can't think of them right now. Area control is not one that I play a lot of. I don't think.
it's usually not a favorite of ours. I mean, Blood Rage is the big one that comes
Well,
to
yeah,
mind.
I mean, that trilogy, our game group loves that game. And I don't know, is Root's not really area control, but depending
Well,
on
it is,
depending on who
yeah.
you play, it is.
Yeah.
But yeah, so maybe I'll take that statement back. This one is at its purest form. If you have the most pieces in that area, you're gonna win points or get the most points for that round.
Yes.
And where this one differs is you're limited in how many pieces you can have on a hex, and then once they're all full in the region, you can't do anything. You can't
Right.
move in.
Anymore.
Yeah. So
I guess you might be able to upgrade a den, but that is also limited as well. 'Cause
no,
you
but
can
it's
only-
not. It just replaces.
Yeah, but it gives you more points.
True.
So I think I agree with you. I think this is a good one to jump into for someone who's used to gaming. It's going to be a pretty easy learn. Like for us, it's no John Company.
Oh man.
Which we talked about before, where we're watching videos, reading rule books,
And we're still like, what?
we're immersed. So we're trying to learn that one still. This one, a gamer, even just like a lightweight gamer, like an Azul
Sure.
person, they could sit down and they could learn this no problem. I think the action mechanism is really cool.
That's one of my favorite parts.
I know.
It's very unique. I don't think I've seen a game do this before.
And I think that it also has a lot of strategy behind it because you have to flip over like tiles in order to do actions.
Yeah, the stronger the action, the more like tiles you need.
Right. So you have six tiles in front of you. Every player does. And so if you want to move to a grass area, you have to flip over one grass. But if you want to build a den in a grass area, now you have to flip over two grasses.
And so you have to think like, how am I going to get 2 grass tiles set up for next time?
Right, because every single one of those 5 of those 6 tiles have another side to them that is different than the side that
Yeah,
was
they're all
showing.
double-sided.
One of them is like your wolf's expertise.
Home territory.
Home territory, yeah. So if you're the grass wolves, you've got a tile that's grass on both sides.
So you'll always have at least one
Yep.
grass tile.
It's kind of like where you're dominant in.
Yeah, you get kind of in a way a bonus. So it's easier for you to get 2 of those ones, and even later on get 3 of those ones to do some of the more powerful moves.
So I really like that. I think it makes it, even though I said it involves a lot of strategy, I think it makes it easier to just get the game going, and then kind of play it, like learn as you go. And there's not many pieces that start on the board to begin with, which I think is really helpful just visually for someone that, how if you play Root with 4, 6, or even, I think we've played it with
6 is the
6.
most, yeah.
It looks
Chaotic.
terrifying to start because everyone's got
Or like
different pieces and
Ankh.
different, or Ankh looks terrifying to start. This one, it's like everyone just has 3 wolves or whatever.
4.
4
total.
4 total wolves on the board, and it's really clean looking. And then as the game goes, you get more wolves, and I feel like that kind of eases the player into what this game is.
Yeah, and I can see one barrier of entry is explaining a little bit about how those actions work. It can be confusing for the first few rounds. And then also scoring. Scoring is done based on how many tokens or actions are taken off the board, if that
Right.
makes sense. So you can one way to expand your pack is to find what they call lone wolves.
Yep.
And so you can go up to a lone wolf and you can howl, which which howling is one of those more powerful actions, so you need 2 matching tiles. But once you do that, you get another wolf to your pack.
Yeah.
And then you would take that lone wolf tile and put it on the calendar board. And as more and more tokens or wolves get added to that board, you get closer to a scoring round.
Right.
Now, not every zone is scored, so just trying to remind people that, like, okay, round one, it's only these two zones that are going to have scoring.
Right.
And to make it even worse, if you're playing with like more than 3 people, it's only the top 2 that get points.
Yeah.
And so, like, if you know you're behind, where like some of the strategy comes in is like, well, do I just abandon it and then go to the next phase of the moon, which is on the other side of the map, and set up for dominance in that area for that score period?
Yeah. It's like, I'll resign myself to lose that one.
Yeah.
And just go on.
I did that a lot. We taught our kids how to play this. And I mean, I'm not going to go in and destroy them right away. So I was like, I'll let them battle for this one and I'll go set up for the next 2 or whatever. And
yeah.
It didn't work out well for me, but...
Well, that's why you got to be ruthless.
I guess so. I'm not a good alpha.
When playing with children. Yeah. So I think this is a really good game to get to the table for anyone who's interested in board games.
Yeah, I'm excited to bring this one to our board game weekend that we keep on talking about.
Yeah.
And then if you're listening to this and you're wondering like what type of game or like what it's similar to, and you're interested or love Scythe, I feel like this one is like Scythe light.
Okay, yeah.
Like not directly. Scythe is great in its own right.
Yes.
But like the same, it's got Scythe vibes.
With
for sure.
Yeah.
But it's just much more streamlined.
Right.
And less
stuff.
less scythiness.
Yes, less stuff. There's no extra quests to go on. There's
No.
Yeah, so I guess I just would say this is pretty accessible.
Yeah, I would
for new players.
Totally agree.
All right. How well do you think it does at building the world it's living in?
I think where it does the best at building the world is the actions that you can take. And that is where you get the feeling of like being a pack of wolves.
Okay,
the
yeah.
cool, like what really drew me to wanting to play this game was I'm just reading off BGG. It says like, be careful not to expand too recklessly into terrain where your rivals thrive. They may lure members of your pack away. Mm-hmm. And when I read that, I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. Because if someone gets cocky and spreads out too thin, you can just take their members.
Yeah.
Which is, I've not experienced that other than like, obviously in other games, you can like destroy them and kill them. But in this game, it's like, oh, what's yours is now mine.
Yeah.
Like this wolf now works for me.
And that's cool because it's another level of strategy and it just makes sense in real life.
Well, yeah, I mean, wolves want to stay together as a pack. And so if you're a lone wolf, it's more susceptible to being, what do they call it? Dominated in this game. And so they switch sides or, so if you keep 2 of them together at all times, you don't have to worry about that. But then what the game also does really well is there are actions in the game that require you to spread out. And so like you're going to leave somebody behind probably and lose them.
You have to weigh that decision.
Yeah.
And I like the theme of like how the wolves surround prey in order to kill it.
Oh, that's the hunting is interesting. I wish there was a little bit more to that, but I don't know what that could have been.
Right.
It just seems like, oh yeah, I hunted this boar.
It's not an action. It's just kind of like
it happens if you fulfill a requirement.
Yeah. It just happens if you surround it. So I like that. I like the pieces that they're shaped like wolves.
Oh,
and
yeah.
The alphas are bigger, stronger alphas.
The art
fun.
and the different wolves.
Yep.
I do like that. They're kind of like stylized. I don't know if I want to say Disney style drawings, but it's very Disney style.
It's not. It's more like
not like cute Disney. But
no, like Pocahontas.
Yeah,
Big Brother, or what? Brother Bear? Is that what it was?
Big Brother.
Called?
That's a different.
Big Brother. That's a show. Never mind.
It's not Balto. Either.
Yeah.
The wolves, they look cool and they're very distinct. There's every wolf is a different color. Where you get your tundra ice wolves, which are blue. And they have a really cool blue player board. We mentioned like the forest wolves are green and they have a dark green forest.
Yeah.
It's just neat.
Yep. Okay. So we think it does pretty darn well at living in the world it's trying
it's great.
to. And then, is it fun?
I have a fun time playing this game.
Yeah, I do too. I think it's a nice, like, it has more take that elements than, like Wingspan or...
Oh, no, the point is to beat the other person.
Right, but I still feel like it's casual.
Okay.
I don't know. It's like an atmosphere type of thing. Like some games, I feel like I can talk to people through.
Is this one of them?
Yeah.
Oh.
And then some games, I feel like I need to concentrate.
Yeah, I like this game a lot because, excuse me, I feel like it goes quick.
Yes.
Once you start getting those tokens off the board, the scoring it eventually happens, and so it's like, oh, we're already to the next phase of the moon. I have to start worrying about this location now. And so I start migrating my pack that way.
Yeah.
Or, but, yeah, it's been good.
Yes, I agree. I was worried when Christian said, we brought it home. And then he's like, so this one has special rules for 2-player. And I always get worried with that because for me, that kind of signifies, it's a subpar game for 2 players.
Yeah, it's not my favorite thing when I find that out.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize that this game had that.
But I actually think it's pretty good at 2 players.
Yeah, it just throws a neutral pack into the starting zones.
Yeah.
And each area has different amounts of wolves. And so you just have to overcome the neutral pack to get first.
Yeah, but
second.
I appreciate that neutral pack is not an AI.
No, they don't roam. They don't seek
dominate.
you out.
They don't move.
Yeah.
Yeah. So it's nice that it just adds more pieces on there to try to get hold of a region.
Yeah, and we have played this with more than 2 people, and it's obvious it's a way different game.
Right.
We played it at 4 players, and it just with 4 players is interesting because I feel like you can like split 2 and 2. So it's like Angela and me are going after this zone, and then our other 2 players are going after this zone. And you can kind of ignore each other. But then like if there was that 5th player, I wonder how that would change.
Or if it was just 3.
Oh yeah, an odd number would change that immensely.
So I wouldn't be too concerned about the 2-player rules throwing you off. I think, like, for instance, 2-player Root or 2-player Ahoy is a really subpar experience when you compare it to what that game can be.
Yes.
So this one, I feel like 2-player might not be at the same level as 3, 4, or 5, but it's pretty good.
You're still getting a pretty full experience.
Yes.
I will say, because I want to defend Root, they have gotten better at that.
Yeah,
with
they have.
the wildlings that you can, or the hirelings, there you go.
Yes.
That make that much better. And I think Ahoy, I just like pirates, so,
Hey, I'm not saying it's a bad game. I'm just saying the game...
When you add that smuggler, it's so much better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, and then replayability.
I think there's tons of replayability because everything is just different every time.
Absolutely.
You don't know in every game, you don't know what your opponents are going to do, but the layout is different depending on player count. There's different ways you can do setup. You can do like a draft style setup, or you can just go around the table and play stuff. Like, so there's stuff like that, and yeah, it's just.
I feel that
it's fun. It's worth it.
Yeah, it's kind of like Catan in that way. Like, the board's just going to be filled differently every single time. Mm-hmm. So even though the shape might look the same, it's just pieces are going to be in different areas, and it's never going to be the same game. I think it has a lot of play value on our shelf just because you said it's quick for us. BGG lists this as 75 minutes. I would say that's what it was when we were learning it.
I would say it's pretty accurate. I mean, even with 4 players, I think we played it in about 90 minutes.
Well, there are
Yeah,
kids.
but still.
Yeah.
For them to learn this game and play in 90 minutes,
Yeah, really good.
it's great. And you
I
get
guess I just feel like the 75 minutes seems long, but it just goes by so fast. Maybe
but for this style of game, this area control dominance game, like to be done in an hour, possibly, that's
Yeah.
pretty cool.
Yeah,
You can't play many games like that in an hour,
right.
or at least in our experience.
True.
You're not going to play Scythe in an hour.
Right. And you're probably not going to play Blood Rage in an hour.
You're not going to play Blood Rage with two people anyways. It's
No,
not fun.
that is true. Yeah, and I feel like for the reasons we discussed about that mechanic with the tile flipping, it's so unique.
The tile, yeah, it's really weird to like at first to wrap your head around. And what I like about it is like, you know, listening to the show, I'm not a planner. Mm-hmm. So trying to strategize and realize that I have to take this action if I want to do this one next time, because then I'll have like tiles either on my next action or next turn is a fun puzzle to figure out.
I agree. I love that puzzle. Mm-hmm. All right. Well, we're going to come back in a minute and we're going to talk about some things that came up while we were playing Wolves. This episode is sponsored by Show It. Are you stuck in a boring website template? Maybe you don't even know where to start. Experience the true creative freedom with the drag and drop simplicity of a Show It website. Our website, marriedandbored.com, is a Show It website, and we love how simple it is to create. Get started for free at showit.co. You won't be disappointed.
Well, thanks for listening, everybody. We hope you enjoyed our chat and breakdown of Wolves. If you've played it, let us know. Or if you're on the fence, let us know why. Maybe we can push you over the fence or keep you safe on the other side.
Depending on which pack you're in. All right, well, one thing that came up for us in Wolves, and we mentioned it briefly, but we didn't really talk in depth about it. This has a separate board that keeps track of when the scoring rounds are triggered. And so there are not a set number of turns for each round. It's just dependent on when tokens get played. That's how the game progresses. And we have other games like this. Coming to mind right off the top of my head is Ankh, where different actions make the game progress. It's not about did everyone get the same number of turns.
Yeah, excuse me. Specifically in Ankh, it's an interesting balance because like you don't want to progress the scoring round because you need to do more things. And so you're forced to take an action that you may not want to take, but it's not going to bring the game to scoring. But then you have to worry about, well, maybe you're the person after you will do it. And so
yeah,
it's just very interesting. So in this one, it's very similar. And I feel like it kind of snowballs, right? Like you have a longer time in the beginning, and then does it...
Yeah,
I don't remember
know.
If it's even.
Well, and I feel like the beginning goes quick
in the Wolves,
because all of the lone wolves are out and people try to get those right away.
Oh yeah, you're just like, I'm gonna go howl at this lone wolf, and
Yeah. So all of a sudden there's like 8 squares filled and you only need to get to 12 to score.
True.
So I feel like that part goes quickly. I don't know that it compounds, but I'm thinking that I like these kind of games. Arc Nova is one of them as well that doesn't depend, the game doesn't progress based on a number of rounds. It progresses on breaks.
Oh yeah, the break, coffee break.
So you can, if you like want the game to go quicker, you can artificially make it, you can force it to go quicker, which is an interesting idea that I hadn't really thought about in the games that we play.
I feel like in Arc Nova, I would want to not... I don't know. I get stuck not doing it because I want to get more points.
Right, but then sometimes you have no money and you need to do it.
Then that's why that game is so good.
Right.
Because it forces you to do it.
Right. And I actually had a moment when we were playing 4-player in Wolves where on my turn, I was going to do something, but following through with that action would remove a token from the board, which would put the token on the moon cycle, which would end the game. It was the last scoring.
Oh, and you wanted to
And I didn't
keep it going.
Yeah, and I wanted to have like one more turn.
Yeah.
Besides the one that I was on. So I was like, oh, what's going to get me the most points? Doing that one that ends the game right now, or kind of like dancing around the issue and then hoping it gets back to me. So it's like that. It's like that, weighing your options and trying to figure out if it's worth it to end the game right now.
Or keep it going. Yeah, and I think in that instance, our daughter just ended the game. She's like,
Yeah.
oh, I need these 3 points. Done.
Yeah.
Sorry, Mom. And she won, right? Didn't she?
Yeah, I mean, it was a pretty hefty lead, too.
Yeah, she did really well. I mean, we helped her a lot, but hey, she had a good time.
Yeah.
And she requested to play Wolves, so that was cool.
That's a win.
I think she likes the art in this one a lot.
Right.
But-
I think that's true. The art is, it's not, I was going to say it's happy. It's not like happy. It's lively. Is that the,
Yeah, I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah.
It's just cool.
it's really cool. Colorful.
Yeah. But like the actions pushing the game forward is interesting. If you guys know of any games that we may not have mentioned, let us know what those are and what your favorite ones are. We mentioned the Wolves, this one, and Ankh is one as well. Like I compared this game a lot to Scythe, but Scythe doesn't really do that because Scythe is more victory conditions.
Yep.
Once you hit your 7 victories or your condition, then the game ends.
Right.
So that's a little different. Like
I know.
there's no set turns in that one either. But and same with like Root. In another area control game is just race to 30.
Right. Or do you prefer having that, a turn-based game like Obsession is like one that comes to mind. Right off the top, it's like, okay, you have 12.
12 rounds is what we're playing.
Yep. And everybody, or, you play an extended game, but still everybody's got that set up in mind and they know how long things are going to go. And this one, it could drag out or it could go really quick.
Yeah. And I think just with the limited amount of actions you have in this game, I feel like that's why it makes it go quickly. There's not too many things to do. And so like you're just like, well, I have to do this to get a point. And then to get that point moves it closer to scoring the region. And
Yes.
it's fun. And we should say too that if we didn't mention it before, as you're taking pieces off of your player board, it increases the power of the stuff you can do. I don't know if we
Right,
mentioned that. And so
right.
like that would be a reason why you'd want to put pieces on the board as well, just to keep to
The
ramp up your
attributes.
power.
Yeah, the attributes of your
Yeah.
wolf get honed.
Honed.
Yeah.
The pack is growing stronger.
The pack is growing. All right. We hope that you've decided if Wolves is right for you or not. It is really right for us. We like it over here.
Yeah.
So let's wrap this up, shall we?
Let's
Christian?
do it.
Well, do you want to go first?
Sure.
What is bringing you joy outside of board games?
Outside of board games, there are 2 things that I can think of.
Whoa, you're doing 2?
Well, I think I might have mentioned this before, but the Last of Us TV show is so good.
You just have to mention it again.
Yep, Marvel Snap. And I haven't watched a good TV show in a while.
Yeah, that one is captivating.
Yeah, and I'm surprised you enjoy it. I do feel like zombies are like, okay, more, or maybe just because Walking Dead went forever, and we died out on that one. But this one's very good, and we like the actors, like Pedro.
Yeah. Pedro Pascal.
Pedro's really cool, and Bella, the girl who plays Ellie, is great.
Agreed.
My second one that's been bringing me joy is a video game. Hogwarts Legacy came out.
Oh.
We love Harry Potter in this family. We've done multiple podcasts talking about Harry Potter, playing Harry Potter board
Potter,
games,
yep,
reading
Harry
the
Potter.
books. So Hogwarts Legacy came out. I've been playing it a lot. It's really fun. Like, I'm not a good video game player, and so the combat, I'm sure in the world of video games, is simple. But there's a lot of like reacting that you have to do depending on like who's shooting you and what color spell. Like it shows you on the screen, and it's like, oh, there's a yellow spell coming in. That means I can dodge it. So I hit dodge. But if it's red, you have to block it, and like trying to figure out that is hard for me.
Yeah.
So and I'm only playing on normal. So I'm not even playing it on like difficult, but it's been really fun. I like stories. So this game has a pretty interesting story. It's just fun to see Harry Potter-ish stuff. I just got a broom. That was cool. Flew around.
Oh, man. It was fun watching you fly.
I know. You've been watching it too. It's fun.
Yeah.
I got sorted into House Hufflepuff.
Yes, you did.
I did.
And you chose to go along with it.
Yeah.
Because you are a Hufflepuff through and through.
Through and through.
Yes.
I didn't know that, but there you go.
You are.
So yeah, that's what's been bringing me joy outside of board games. What about you, Angela?
Well, first, I feel like I need to give an update on my last episode. What was bringing me joy
Okay.
was the kitty cat.
Oh, our stray.
We had a cat get into our garage and then get into like the hood of our car, making us afraid to drive.
Yeah, the engine area.
So at the time of the last recording, we were unsure whether this cat was going to stay with us or not. And Christian, should we do a drum roll? What did we decide? We kept him.
Kept the cat.
So now we have Rocket the cat and Zero the cat.
Rocket and Zero. Yep. He's an all black cat. Mm-hmm. And we thought Zero was just a cool
name.
Cool name. Because you can't see him when it's dark.
Nope. There's Zero cat
There's
there.
nothing there. We did have some other fun names. We were thinking maybe, speaking of Harry Potter, we were thinking of Sirius.
Because Sirius Black.
We were thinking of
Loki
to go with Rocket, because Rocket's named after the Marvel guy.
Mm-hmm. And Loki, he's kind of mischievous. He's a stray. He's just...
Yeah, he just wanders in. It's like, hey, guys, feed me.
Yep. And then we thought of some names like from a coach that we like, a basketball coach. So.
Oh, the songs, yeah. Mm-hmm. So yeah, Zero the hero.
Zero is here. The thing that is bringing me joy this time is the mini fridge.
The mini fridge. Wow.
Yeah. Guys, I know I'm behind the times on this, but we finally have a separate fridge. I know it's a mini fridge.
It's a mini fridge.
But it's in our garage, and now we can have more sparkling water, cold and ready to go. Christian just bought the Dr. Pepper Zero strawberries and cream.
Yeah, something like that.
And that's out there ready to go. I just love that cans are not taking up half to 3/4 of our fridge
That's
space.
true. That's the best part about it, is that there's space for actual food.
So that is what's bringing me joy.
I was not expecting that one. I didn't know what you're going to go with there. But I think everyone also wants to know, Angela, what you're reading. So
I'm ready for it this time.
You don't look surprised.
No.
So I knew it was...
I was waiting to see if you would just skip it, but
No.
I was ready. I am listening to a book for my book club. It's called Lessons in Chemistry.
It sounds very boring.
It's not.
And I took a lot of chemistry in school.
It's about a female scientist in the 1950s.
Okay.
And just the struggle of being female
Yeah.
in science in the 1950s. And then the book that I'm reading, I'm actually reading it on the Kindle, which I
You don't do very often.
almost never do.
No.
It is called Sprint Through No Man's Land, I believe.
Okay.
And it is about the 1919 Tour de France,
Okay.
which is something that super intriguing to me to read, like push your limit stories or even like survival stories. And then this one, even more so, like it was months, literal months after the
war.
After the war treaty was signed, they did the Tour de France.
That's crazy.
And so like places in France were still
Like gone.
destroyed.
Yeah.
And there was a lot of the men almost all the men on the Tour de France in that year had been part of the war because they were enlisted.
Because everybody was.
But some of them were not even officially, I don't know what you'd call it. I'm going to be so naive here, but like weren't even officially not enlisted. Like they were going to head back to their unit once the tour was over.
Oh, so they were still in the army.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And just like no one had trained, like no one had been training,
to ride bikes.
You think of like Lance Armstrong and all these like current cyclists and like how many months they train. And it's like, oh no, they were just all fighting in a war.
Yeah. In trenches for the last 3 years.
It's crazy.
Yeah, that's funny. You read a lot of historical books.
I do. Yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting. And I always say that I'm the one who likes history.
Well, you read historical books.
Yeah,
just not recently. You've been on an author kick, I feel like. You've found like authors that you like and reading their series.
That's right.
So, Christian.
Yeah.
Why don't you tell the people how they can get a hold of us?
Oh my gosh, I don't know if I can do this. So everybody can find us on Instagram. We are at Married and Bored. You are welcome to comment on all of our pictures and slide into our DMs if you wish.
Please slide.
Answer any of the questions that we ask in the episode. We're always happy to chat with you guys. You can find us. We have a website, marriedandbored.com. There's a contact form on the site you can fill out, or you can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com. We do have Twitter, as Angela says. It's at Married and Bored. Twitter's in a weird place right now. I don't know what's going on.
I thought our Twitter was at Married Bored.
Yeah, is that what I said?
No.
What did I say?
Married and Bored.
Oh, Married Bored.
Okay.
Sorry. I was going so fast, and I'm really nervous.
You know what? Listing how you can get a hold of us really should be left to a professional.
Oh, but you threw it in my lap. Terrible. So we appreciate any follow, or even like we said at the top of the show, leave us a review. It's how we can get found better, and we're interested to any feedback is great. So hit us up.
We do love the feedback, which reminds me, like, we read and try to interact with everyone's feedback. Our listener, Steve, who is part of the Critical Encounters podcast.
Oh, yeah. Keep the cat.
He told us to keep the cat, and I immediately was like, Christian, he told us to keep the cat.
Told us to keep the
and
cat.
Guess what? You've changed our whole lives. Now we have 2 cats.
Yeah. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks, Steve.
In a good way.
In a good way. All right, until next time.
Talk to you later.
Thanks for listening to this episode of the Married and Bored podcast. And guess what? We have a website where you can listen to podcast episodes and so much more. Find us at marriedandbored.com, or you can email us at hello@marriedandbored.com, or follow us on Instagram at Married and Bored. Music in this episode is by Joseph McDade. See you next time.